Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having a wonderful day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Coinbase is making sure that they are constantly more in the news now. It says Coinbase, the largest US-based crypto exchange, is apparently announcing that they're going to be diversifying their revenue streams beyond just getting money from people trading on their platform amidst what is being continuously called the crypto winter. The idea of a crypto winter is just the idea that prices aren't moving how people expect them to. Prices are down and or are trending sideways. It's really funny because the term used to only last for roughly around like 50 to 100 days. But now anytime that prices aren't moving dramatically, people always write that we're in the midst of a crypto winter. It's really cold outside. According to a new report by blockchain analytics firm Coinmetrics, a key area of growth for Coinbase is Ethereum's staking service. This might sound familiar. We were just talking about, maybe a week or so ago, there were a number of large banks over the course of a 2 to 3 day period who all announced that they were getting into the cryptocurrency space. A lot of them announced that they were going to be helping institutional investors first. This is how it always is. They help the rich before they help anyone else. They are banks. The other part was that on top of being able to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies on their banking platforms, on their banking websites, they're also going to be offering staking as a service. Staking is huge and is going to be gigantic in the future. You may have noticed the 7-year trend of companies, institutions, and banks openly talking about working with Ethereum. For those of you who missed it, you can Google the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. We've gone over it many other times before. It's a consortium of hundreds of companies and banks, JP Morgan Chase, Microsoft, etc., who have all said that they plan on using, are using, or at some point in the future will be integrating Ethereum-based systems into their local networks, what have you. The idea of staking is basically going to be the new dividend. So for those of you who have been staking already for a while, you probably know exactly what I mean. It is essentially free money. It's the same as buying a stock and simply holding on to it. You get showered money every single, I think some coins even have it like weekly or monthly, which is even more frequent than other stocks that are currently out there. Some stocks tend to do every 3 to 4 months over the course of a year. So Coinbase has announced that they're going to be furthering their Ethereum staking service because apparently it's making them a lot of money. Coinbase's staking service allows customers to stake their Ether by converting it into a token called CBETH. I'll explain that in 1 second. Despite facing scrutiny from the SEC, CBETH, or CBETH, I don't know how you want to pronounce that, has seen its supply rise to 1.3 million as staking demand increases after the merge, which feels like it was years ago, but the merge was, I think it was just last year, which is absolutely insane. So the way that I understand and have been gathering information for a while now that the Ethereum staking works, it is relatively different from other proof of stake coins in that there is a time period that it takes for you to be able to get your coins back. i.e., you put your coins into the machine, it starts generating profits, and after a year you go, cool, I want to take my money out. And you click withdraw, there's like a queue, a line that you have to stand in before you actually get your money back. We heard when the merge was first completed and staking was allowed and people could withdraw their money, that people were already standing in a queue, and those who were at the front of the line would still have to wait a good couple of months before they got all their money back. That's not liquid enough. So a lot of crypto exchanges have begun making their own liquid Ether coins that are more liquid than Ether currently is in its staking form. The idea is that, because I know people always have questions. The idea is that you do not want someone to unstake all of their coins at the exact same time. When you stake your coins, it's the equivalent of having all those gigantic machines merge together to mine Bitcoin. Now imagine if there was a situation where Bitcoin's price fell by 18% and everyone around the world, or let's say 70% of people, panicked and unplugged their Bitcoin machines. The network security would completely collapse. So staking is the exact equivalent of that, except you can do it on your computer. So they have a more staggered way for people to unstake their coin that happens in a slower manner, so that if people are panicking, it doesn't all happen at the exact same time. Because if one day Ethereum's at 10,000 and has a flash crash, let's say to $4,000, and everyone panics and tries to withdraw their coins, unstake them at the exact same time, not only does the price fall, the network security drops by 60-70%. It's then open to attacks. That's the general idea behind it. So what ends up being done, and Coinbase is not the only exchange that does this, is you make a liquid Ether coin. So you give your coins, this is the general idea of how it works. I don't work at Coinbase, so I don't know their exact method, but the idea is you give your 5 Ether to Coinbase and say, here, I want to stake this. They give you the equivalent of a liquid token that kind of does the exact same thing. You know, it's kind of like it's a stable coin that would be 4 Ether's value. You can think of it that way. And basically that's what ends up getting staked, so that when you do want to withdraw your funds, you are given this liquid token that you can then convert back into US dollars or what have you, to kind of simplify the process to make sure that you get your money immediately, as opposed to having to wait months down the line. All crypto exchanges do this. It's a very popular thing, but theirs for some reason is called CBETH. I assume it's Coinbase Ether. That seems to make the most sense as I look at the actual letters. The interesting part is Coinbase has very high fees, and I've mentioned that before on this channel, even on my other channel. I think it does not deter people, which I find incredibly interesting. If you've ever had an investment vehicle of some sort, or gotten into stocks or mutual funds, you will know that typically there is a commission or a fee that it gets charged by the company who is holding and or dealing with your money. Those fees tend to be 2%, 1%. Some of them even do 0.75% to be more competitive. Coinbase, however, has a 25% fee. Yep, that's 25 compared to 0.75 from other places. The 25% commission that Coinbase charges on CBETH staking generated 4% of the company's revenue just in Q2 of 2022. While trading volumes remain Coinbase's primary revenue driver, staking and other services are starting to make up a more material portion of revenue as well. And I assume if they figured out that people are willing to pay a 25% fee as opposed to just staking it themselves and then paying a 0% fee, well, I assume they're going to continue that going. Coinbase has kind of become the new Ripple, the new Shiba Inu, because they're in the news every single day now. It's either about Base, their new layer 2 solution. We now have them talking about staking, or it's their CEO talking about the need for more cryptocurrency regulation and how he wants everyone to hold hands in kumbaya and stuff like that. It's a little intense, but sure. So cool. Coinbase is going to be expanding their staking services. I assume they're getting a hint from other banks and institutions around the world who are also going to be offering the exact same thing. I always think about the future. Maybe it's a bit unhealthy how far I go into the future. But I wonder what the world is going to be like, and I say this lightly, when sometime in the future, in the next couple of halvings, we actually have a $25,000 to $50,000 Ether. How big the market will be for people simply just holding onto their Ether and staking it and making huge amounts of passive income. Because keep note always of the patterns that we see. We constantly hear about usually the same 3 coins over and over and over and over. So this is why I believe they have the strongest chance of succeeding. But when you keep seeing all this energy pushed onto these coins and you realize that there's a rapid amount of accumulation in the background, it translates into unforeseen levels of wealth at some point in the future. That's the Coinbase staking news, the same as other banks around the world. And yeah, let's move on. Also in unsurprising news, for those of you who are not looking at the screen, I don't even have to read this one. It says Bitcoin reserves on crypto exchanges is approaching a 6-year low. Good for price? ? The amount of cryptocurrencies that are being bought up by people and taken off of exchanges continues to rise. The amount of crypto on exchanges continues to fall. This is something we've been going over for years now. It's just that now we're getting additional news about it, especially as we end up getting closer to the Bitcoin halving. Just thought I'd throw that in there to let you know that this is still something going on. I've noticed a lot of people discussing, whether it be on Twitter or in real life. I still know people and still talk to people who aren't investing in the market actively because prices aren't where they think that they should be. So then I discuss with my friends, are you waiting for prices to rise before you begin to buy at a lower price? And the general answer usually is yes. They want to see that the market goes back up before they put money back into it. And I do have a couple of friends. 2021 was their first market cycle. So it is understandable that people would not understand how all of this actually works. But yeah, people are still buying Bitcoin and Ether and XRP, and they're taking it off of exchanges, and the amount on exchanges continues to dip more and more and more, so that when prices do move up and the stragglers, the latecomers, begin to buy crypto, there will not be as much as they thought that there once was. That's the Bitcoin reserves on crypto exchanges continues to drop news. Let's move on. Also in the news, Hong Kong lawmaker, there we go, Duncan Chiu has announced the launch of the second round of consultations aimed at formulating stablecoin issuance guidelines. The amount of stablecoin news has been a little bit overwhelming over the course of this year as far as the amount of attention that's being paid to it. We discussed that, and the year's almost over. Isn't that really weird to think about? I was going over that with someone. When I say yeah, we were discussing this in January, and then I look at the date and I'm like, oh, we have a couple weeks left and then the year's over. This year has basically revolved around stablecoin regulations, because we have been hearing that countries are going to be issuing central bank digital currencies, they're going to be issuing stablecoins from a lot of different banks. And just the generalized idea of these networks that are starting to create their own mimic of the country that they're actually in, which previously before was completely illegal. You cannot make your own physical version of a US dollar. It is illegal. However, for some reason, this has been circumvented by making a digital version of it and simply having it being backed by securities and or what have you. But now we're also getting into the framework of where the world goes in 2024 for cryptocurrencies. All the rest of the world, you know what I mean, now has cryptocurrency regulations, and it seems that the last step has to actually do with stable coins. As we've seen before, that there have been a number of instances where people have actually chosen to use stable coins over their local currencies, especially when it comes to traveling and or doing trade and business. So this is what I assume also a lot of the regulations and guidelines also have to do. You can't go over there and use their currency with those or those. So because if we get to so this is where I think a lot of the stable coin hate has come from. There's been one news publication who consistently make sure that they're talking negatively about Twitter, about Tether and different stable coins. Anyway, I don't want to get into that entire topic, but it basically comes down to the fact that imagine a world where everyone who's not directly into crypto kind of decides, hey, I'm tired of using this coin. I'm tired of using that currency. I'm tired of using this thing from 50 different countries around the world. And they say, my value of my money in this country has inflated by 42% year on year. I want to use Tether instead of all these other things. It then becomes a little bit of a mimic of when Facebook had their own coin and regulators completely lost their minds because countries lose power when people are not using their currency. It's like very simple. Like there's no kind of way around that. So this is why I think we're getting so many regulations, at least right now. Speaking on Tuesday, Chu said he hopes for the city to release regulatory guidelines for stablecoin issuers by the middle of next year. Then it goes on to talk about what stablecoins are. People keep confusing stablecoins with cryptocurrencies. Stablecoins are not cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are permissionless. They can be used by anyone at any time, anywhere. Stablecoins are issued by a company, and that company can freeze your money as they have done so before. It is a very common thing. If local lawmakers ask a stablecoin issuer to freeze a coin, to freeze an account, I think some of them can even reverse transactions. They are mainly used for day trading and other things like that, and or we've seen other use cases as far as people around the world shifting their money into them because they're afraid of their local currency inflating too much. They are not cryptocurrencies. They are tokens. They mimic the value of the US dollar, the euro, and or the yen. Hong Kong being a major talking point for the cryptocurrency space, I still personally am very much interested in seeing exactly what ends up happening with Hong Kong because we had so much energy around Hong Kong, around South Korea, and around Japan when it came to regulation. And these places before were major movers of the cryptocurrency market back in good old 2017. They now have proper regulation. So let's see if they end up dominating the market once again. That's the Hong Kong and I guess stablecoin news. Moving along. Also in, I guess, yay news. PayPal's US dollar, their stable coin that they released, is now available on Venmo. It says, after announcing its new payment stable coin last month, PayPal revealed on Wednesday that PayPal's US dollar PYUSD is now available to Venmo users for transacting with peers. Initially available to select users, access will extend to all Venmo users in coming weeks. Venmo is a mobile payments app owned by PayPal. I feel like I could have guessed that something that was owned by PayPal would eventually be integrating the PayPal US dollar. PayPal and Coinbase seem to be on this really weird, like sluggish race together. I had like a joke in my head, but I won't say it because I think it might be kind of mean. Anyway, the story that is PayPal and Coinbase is they keep releasing new things into the market that I think that people don't really want or need or did not ask for. And one of them has to do with the idea of like pushing these stable coins. Coinbase has recently been doing everything in their power to announce that they have their Circle coin on Base, that it's being integrated into this and that it's going to be used for that. And people will now have the option to use this. And it's like, cool, but no one really wants that coin. A lot of people choose to use mainly Tether and some other coins at the moment. You can disagree with me. I don't really care. It's a stable coin. Like, let's not have like a stable coin argument. And on the other side, PayPal has found success within the United States because I think it's only within the US at this point where people can buy, I believe, Bitcoin and Ether. I think it's also Ether through PayPal. So now they're trying to launch their own stable coin. And we had news about it a couple days ago. There's only like a couple million of them minted and or being used comparative to the like 60 billion that Tether currently has, but I assume that they're going to be doing everything that they can to get those numbers up. They probably will have some type of like a behind the scenes thing going on as well, where people can just send money through Venmo or through PayPal, but it'll be on the rails of their stablecoin, just to say, oh, look at this, we have billions of dollars for it now. This gets other companies to also use it as well. Just kind of a trick. No one needs these things at all. I mean, unless we live in a world where like everyone decides to start day trading, then sure. But as of right now, especially with the markets where they are, people aren't really vying for or running for stablecoin. Anyway, so cool. PayPal has added their stablecoin to Venmo. You know, I would have expected them to do so. It's like when we got the news that Coinbase announced that Coinbase's layer 2 solution had added Coinbase's stablecoin, and I was like, whoa, that's weird. I would have never expected any of that from the company. Anyway, that's the PayPal news. Fantastic. We will be hearing about the PayPal US dollar again because it's in the news nearly every single gosh darn day. And yeah, let's move on. Also Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of Ripple, has apparently told the SEC off. Yeah. And it's Chairman Gary Gensler saying that the commission has lost everything that they cared about. This was, as you might have expected, very popular news. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has taken a swipe at the SEC and Gary Gensler during a fireside chat at Messari Mainnet 2023. Garlinghouse referred to Gensler as a bully. He said, and I quote, "You have to stand up to a bully. He's pursuing power. He's pursuing politics, not sound policy," end quote. I find it very, I guess one would do this, but I find it very interesting how openly he talks about how much he doesn't like the SEC and or Gary Gensler since they won that portion of the lawsuit like years ago. For those of you who didn't keep track, understandable. Who didn't keep track of all the stuff that Brad Garlinghouse used to say. He used to go on TV and used to talk about, we hope we get fair regulation. You know, the lawsuit is kind of a problem for us. We're spending a lot of money, but at some point we expect justice to be served. You know, we're trying to work every single day with the people from the SEC and yada yada. And now he's openly like, you're a bully. You're pursuing power. And it's like, okay, Mr. Garlinghouse, like, you know, you can calm down a little bit. You know, it's not that crazy. Garlinghouse's remarks were shared recently by popular lawyer and crypto journalist Jeff Roberts. He said he's not wrong. Also notable that Gensler has led one-time crypto foes to Biddy, okay, and B. Garlinghouse to become allies. Is that who that is? I don't know most of these people sitting on the stage. In a separate development, the official Twitter account of Messari also shared an excerpt of Garlinghouse's remarks from the event. Commenting on the court ruling in the SEC versus Ripple case, Garlinghouse said the securities regulator lost everything that they cared about. He said a freight train was driven through... Jeez, that's pretty intense. A freight train was driven through Gensler's arguments that these are all securities. You might remember the SEC announced before that they believe that every single coin is a security and every single coin should fall under their purview. These people have completely lost their minds. Very popular news. It's Brad Garlinghouse standing up for money. I don't know what he wants to win. I did not expect him or anyone else to be like, you know, we won that portion of the lawsuit, but it feels like the SEC was right. I don't think why they would never be saying something like that. We are still, at least at the time of me making this video, in the very dramatic throes of this SEC Ripple lawsuit that seemingly will never end. The same with many other things that the SEC is doing right now. I do not expect, logically, for this to end anytime soon, simply because I think the SEC knows that they can scare a lot of companies within the space. But cool. I mean, really, all we need is for Ripple to win the second half of the lawsuit, for it to be thrown out, or for the new thing that the SEC is trying to take them to court for Ripple to also re-win that again. And then, we don't really ever have to listen to Gensler. I mean, I'm also personally of the mindset we shouldn't be listening to Gary Gensler at all. Like, these are completely separate things that don't really have to do with the coins. However, yeah, that's the world that we currently live in. That's the freight train. And Gary Gensler is a bully from Ripple CEO news. Fantastic. All right. Let's move on. And in popular news, apparently people have been digging through Microsoft's code, website, information, filings, and it looks like Microsoft might be developing a cryptocurrency wallet for the next Xbox. It says Microsoft is developing a new set of features for their next gaming console called Gen 10. Sure, why not? Including support for crypto. According to a leaked slide deck obtained by Axios, the Redmond headquartered company is working on support for voice chat, player achievements, and for cryptocurrency wallets. The report says Microsoft's next-gen Xbox console would also get support from AI and machine learning. It is said that these technologies would be used for in-game character dialogue generation and to improve frame rate. The idea of, if you've ever played a video game before, you know how like you walk up to a character and he's like, hey, the road's down that way. And you keep hitting A and he just keeps saying the same thing over and over. So using AI, they'd be able to be like, hey, can you stop asking me the same question 48 times already? And they might even walk away from you. So I would love if that happened. If you ever played the original old Pokemon games, just talking to the same person over and over, imagine at some point it just says ... and then you see the character walk away. Absolutely fantastic. It says, although no details about the crypto feature for the console have been revealed so far, Axios has noted that Microsoft plans could change given that the documents are actually dated from a while ago. And here's the kicker. It appears that the Xbox 10, the Xbox Gen 10, sure, might not be released until 2028. That's tomorrow, right? The year 2028. However, it seems that Microsoft may be intending to bring crypto support to their products. It was recently reported from people who were mining through their data that the company is also working on a non-custodial Ether wallet integrated into Edge, their web-based browser. And this is mainly because Microsoft is desperate for everyone to use Edge, and I think that they think if they have an Ethereum wallet that everyone would completely go insane for it. I assume this is meant to be like would be a competitor to MetaMask, but it won't be anything of the sort. So yeah, very popular news. Here's the information from Axios right here, where they show all the leaks and stuff like that from something that looks, I can't say the name out loud just in case I set off any of your devices in your house, but this looks like the circular tube cylindrical device that starts with an A, similar to it with like a little X on the bottom. So that's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, very, very popular news. We'll see what ends up happening. 2028 is quite a while away. Microsoft is one of the companies who is part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, so I would not be surprised if this actually ends up happening. A lot of companies are trying to figure out ways to actually use blockchain and integrate cryptocurrencies into their products. I think they're looking for like a win. You can't simply just kind of like integrate it into everything and just kind of hope for the best. You have to do like studies to see if people actually want it, how much it would be used, and how much money can be generated from the actual addition of that product onto your product. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do sincerely hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.